Bitcoin, we start with 1 hour chart. Just I want to give a quick update. First of all, if we refer to our analysis in my last video, when the price was in this move, we mentioned we can expect the price to drop. And when the price was within this move, we mentioned if we get the sell for short term, we can look for, because we mentioned we want the price to drop at least similar to what we have here. And we mentioned if we want to look for sell from here, the only way is to put our entry below this. And as we can, since we mentioned we're looking for the short-term sell, and this is what we get. And the one again, the price there didn't continue and it start to correct. Now, whoever get the trade, if they can move their stop loss to break even, just let it go or take out in the small profit. And no one see what's the next. Okay, since we have been doing this move, we have been looking for buy with these targets. We don't need these targets anymore. We take out the target, and because we mentioned we want the price to drop. And again, whoever take the trade from here, move their stop loss to break even or take within this small profit. And we want to see how deep it can go. Since we mentioned we were looking for the price to drop in relative to this, we can expect the price to drop to 35640 following by 35100. Okay, that means still we can look for short-term sell from here. All right. Now we want to see what's the next and what we see based on the bigger picture. If we move to daily chart, we mentioned that based on daily chart, we are looking for the reversal. Okay, but when we look at this correction, we can expect the price to consolidate here for a longer time. That means either this one turn to flat for one more drop, or the price can drop some more before we get the reversal. That means price can consolidate here for a longer time before we get the reversal. Now, we want to see what's the next and how we can look for trade and for long term. And if we move to forward chart, if I remove everything, one things we highlight here that we want, if this one turn to a correction relative to this for one more drop, if we get a divergence, then any reversal for long term we can look for. Now the question is whether we can put this one in relative to this for flat for one move up before we get the drop or not. This is what we're looking at 1 hour chart. That means if I move to 1 hour chart, as I explained, that we're looking for price to drop at least similar to what we get here. That's why if we get any sell, we will take it. And if there is a continuation, this is where we're looking at this. We want to see whether the price can, if drop within this zone, can continue or reverse. All right, because if we put this stop in relative to the previous one, if we refer to these indicators, we have the divergence, but the another one doesn't show us the divergence. That means we have two different results. The only question is whether this is the one is going to retest the previous low, or this is the deeper correction relative to this for flat for one move up. Because after that we get the, if the price reverse with the breakout of this, then from there we see whether we can look for continuation or still this one can be a correction. All right, that's why we have been looking for sell from here. We know who will get the trade because we mentioned the short-term trade, move their stop loss to break even, and if still we can look for this one as for one more drop. That means if we want to look for trade is a short-term trade, the only way is to put entry above or entry below this. But we should know that the targets we're looking for exactly, I mean, really close to over entry. Then, as I say, it's a short term. If traders they want to look for trade, they can. But after the price, if drop to this level, which is 35640, if there is no continuation, we can look. The price can reverse. That's why any trade from here, we can look for trade, but we need to really monitor it because may the price give us a drop and reverse. All right. The only thing is, if I move to 1 hour chart, sorry, 15-minute chart, whoever get the trade from here, they should start to manage. And if we put this low and relative to the previous one, we don't see the divergence. And that means still we can look for one more trade as a short-term trade from here because we see this flat. We can expect the price to drop. Then from there, we want to see whether we get the reversal or continuation. All right. Anyway, any trade for sell is a really short term, similar to what we get here. The only thing is we want to see how deep it can go. And we mentioned how deep we can look for. Then from there, if there is we want to see whether there is a continuation or we can look for this flat. In this case, we just follow the chart. If I see any trade setup, I will share. Mostly we're looking for buying for long term. All right. Anyway, if I see any update, I will share. Thanks.